All right, my man, Jordie. So we are now in the 5th week of the Forged Father. So how has your progress been thus far? What are a couple of the big wins that you've had up to this point, man?
Oh man, couple big wins. I would say first and foremost is just the difference from my performance when I started to now. It's been nice. I'm sort of hard on myself in the sense that I think I may have started light, but I've been going up in weight every week while still, maintaining quality and stuff, and that's
Mm-hmm.
been really exciting for me. It's different doing the workouts I've been doing. With CrossFit, I'm used to throwing a barbell around, so all like the dumbbell and kettlebell and stuff like that, just singular arm movements, and
Mm-hmm.
then a double is different. So I've been trying to base that off of a barbell. So however much weight I have on a barbell, I'll just
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of throw it on each arm, but that didn't work out the first time I tried. So I stepped it down a bit and just
yeah,
focused on controlling it a bit more. But I'm really proud with my results. I wish I wasn't sick last week. It really shut me down. Like I
yeah.
didn't get any progression that way, but this week so far, even just the one workout there, it's just yeah, strides above where I thought I'd be originally. Um, what's another big win? Keeping in touch with my parents. That's been awesome.
Yeah, relationship stuff.
Yeah, it's you start it and then you start it by making an effort and then you keep doing it and then before you know it you're just having conversations every day without even trying. Like
Mm-hmm.
most of the time I just wait until they'd be awake or whatever and then throw them a text and then we're talking all day. And I did the same thing with my two best friends. One lives in California and one lives in Vancouver up in Canada, so we're spread out in that sense. But yeah, it's been nice the last couple of days, that 21-day turnaround. So they're my new relationships, but I've also just continued on with my parents as well. So
Nice. It's good to hear.
yeah, man.
Good to hear, man. Those are things that hold, you know, our lives together, So, initially when a guy first joins Forge Father, a lot of times he just thinks, it's just going to be workouts and nutrition, right?
Mm.
And so if you think about it, like as a father, like we got a lot of different elements that we're in charge of and that we try to bring together. And so relationships is one of those key elements that we got to bring in and, build, build into a stronger foundation, so to speak, because it's really, when it comes down to it, it's like those relationships that are going to drive us forward. Right. So that's good. That's good, man. Kind of backing up, like what, what's your story, man? Like, who are you? Where are you from? Kind of talk about that.
Who I am. All through high school, I was an athlete. I've always been overweight in every sense of the word, but I would play pretty much every sport: volleyball, basketball, hockey, snowboarded, like rugby. I was good at, and everything. My entire life, everything I've done, I've been mediocre at, which is good. I've never found really my niche, if you want to call it that, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing really passionate about or really focused on. Everything, no matter what I touch, I'm just pretty good at it. So that's who I am. Social butterfly growing up for sure until I turned maybe 25, something around there, and then started my family and started dating my fiance now, and moved away, and everybody grows apart, and you're not with your core friend base every single day like you used to be. So
Yeah.
that's sort of status. Um, never. I still have no idea like where I'm going career wise. Managed to lock down good jobs. Like I'm a good worker. I work hard. I'm good at focusing on a million things at one time, which is why I'm in the position I'm in now as a dispatcher. We got a bunch of equipment, and I decide where it goes and who goes with it and when it's coming back and stuff like that. So that's something I'm good at, is organizing 1,000 things at once.
Mm-hmm.
But when I apply it to, like, I don't really apply it to my outside work life much, unless I need to. But I'd like to go that route and be able to do both without wearing myself out. What else? My weight has always been up and down. Like I said, when we originally talked, I did the gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free thing for 2 years and lost a ton of weight, and then started to reward myself for my good behavior and losing so much weight, and then gradually that the rewards just caught up to me, and here I am, gained half that weight back anyways. So but yeah, that's always been something I've struggled with as well. It's just my weight and body fat, and you get so far, and then you're good and you're happy, and then you let go, and then you're not good and not happy anymore. It's a constant battle. So another one of my big wins is tracking my food. I know it might sound cheesy because it's probably what a lot of people say, but it's wicked for me to just have a goal. So those are my numbers. That's my goal. If I go over, it's my own fault and I wasn't trying hard enough. And I've been really consistent with those numbers and hitting them, I want to say 90% of the time. We recently had Thanksgiving, so I splurged on Thanksgiving and had extra turkey and gravy and stuff. But that's been my big win for sure. Like, only missing, I think, 3 or 4 days throughout the 5 weeks of not hitting. Well, I guess it would be, 4 weeks? 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, so a day a week missing from my food and tracking and hitting my macros. I'm pretty proud of that, and I'd like to continue on with that and sort of start tweaking those numbers and see what it does for a guy, because I have weight loss, just looking at the scale, I know it's bad to do that, but there hasn't been much movement there. I thought there'd be more in 5 weeks, but then I look at the other side of my performance in the gym and it being way more than what I expected. So, it sort of cancels itself out, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, man. It's like initially what you've been going through, because the tracking, for a lot of guys, tracking their nutrition and just becoming more aware of where they're actually at quantity wise, that's a brand new thing for a lot of guys. Because before, what you mentioned, you just did the whole sugar-free, gluten-free, dairy-free thing. And so you cut out a whole food group. You can't take in any of this stuff. And so it's restrictive by nature. And so it creates a very bad relationship with food. Because if you do eat that stuff, then you're it's so bad, right? Whereas we can allow those types of food as long as we're hitting our specific quantities. So for you, was that something that was brand new, with the whole quantity side?
I've never done quantity before. Never done macros.
Yeah.
I never heard about it until last year. One of my buddies that I went to CrossFit.
Yep.
It's pretty cool to just try it and do it.
Yeah.
I really
The good thing for you, you've built, you've started that process, and I talk about this all the time in the program, is the consistency. Consistency is the number one determining factor if we're going to be successful or not, right? And so we've built that consistency with tracking. We've gotten on board there. So essentially what we've done is we've started to build the machine, so to speak, as far as your metabolism, right? So we're getting where we need to be as far as numbers wise. We haven't seen a lot of change in the scale, but yet physique wise, like clothes are fitting a little bit differently. You can see a difference in performance. And so basically we've gotten yourself from, rock bottom. We've at least gotten you out of that hole. Now at this point, we continue that consistency, and that is the next step, is basically like, where are you at now that we have been tracking, we have been, staying consistent with your current macros. Now we look at those, now we make some, key tweaks and changes, and that's going to make all the difference, So instead of like, oh, I'm just going to go on this 30-day diet, I'm going to cut all this stuff out and hopefully that's going to work, right? So instead, it goes down to the facts, the numbers, like what are the numbers? Okay, this is what the numbers are telling us. If we're consistent where we need to be, we simply change the numbers, see how the body changes. And that's as simple as it gets when you break it down like that. So it is a process. It is a longer term way of doing things. But in the end, when you get to where you want to go, essentially like leaner body, better body composition overall, we can maintain it and not have to worry about restricting all these different foods. Instead, we just, maintain where we need to be quantity wise. So yeah, you've been doing a great job with the whole tracking side of things, the fuel process. It's definitely not a quick fix, like I mentioned, but it is a means to end, so to speak, long term, right? So it's good, man. But performance wise for you, so it was a little humbling with like the kettlebell movements, huh? So they're a little different than the barbell stuff.
Yeah, and the gym I go to doesn't have any kettlebells, so I've just been doing everything dumbbell, which makes kettlebell swings really tough
Yeah.
under the dumbbell.
Yeah.
But I'm managing pretty well, and they do have a couple. They're always being used, and
Yeah.
not. So when I can, I use it, but usually just dumbbell movements.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to go to the gym, I used to do lots of dumbbell, but you're singling out one muscle group, right? So you're laying on a bench and you're doing bench press or shoulder press or whatever. And then what we've been doing has been trying to balance at the same time as doing shoulder press and all of that, which is interesting and fun.
Yeah. You're kind of you're rebuilding the foundation basically. And so when you do go back to the barbell movements, you'll be blown away by how much strength you've built up overall, not necessarily neglecting the barbell, but just rebuilding the foundation as a whole, just cutting back down to the simple basic movements and then progressing forward from there. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, man. But so for you, like what really got you started inside the Forge Father project for you? Like where were you before we initially started this journey? Like what were some of the things that you were having trouble with? What were some of the pains that you were going through at the time?
I'd say the biggest is just my opinion of myself. Going from being 295 pounds, I lost 95 pounds. It was 200 pounds. I had all the confidence in the world for a couple of years there. Met my fiance. I was just living the dream. I was making crazy money working in the oil patch, and then slowly as time progressed, we were moving towns, and it was becoming more and more stressful on pretty much everything in life. And then so to go from that point where I truly and undoubtedly loved everything about myself and was proud of myself, back to a regress state of, well, fuck, how the hell did I gain 75 pounds again? What the fuck is wrong with me, right? To go from that, and then you go deeper and you think about, wow, is my fiance still attracted to me? Am I still the person she wants? how is this going to affect me running around with my kids? How is it going to affect their lives as growing up? Like, am I putting them in a position where they're going to be overweight now too? And you just fall down that ladder of like, oh fuck, what was me? How did I
Yeah.
get here? And it's just, I've always been the kind of guy that when I think about something and there's a problem, let's fix it. Like, why keep it broken? But
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, I was just broken enough that it was catching up to me and making me depressed and sort of affecting every aspect of my life, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it's a million little things, not one big thing.
Yeah. And so fast forward to today, like how we feeling in that regard? Like how much progress have we made from where we used to be?
Like, yeah, knowing that I'm on the right track is a confidence booster in itself. But being able to go to the gym, I go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning when everybody's asleep, and I just go by myself. If I need weights, I take them into like they do their classes in there and just separate myself. And that's sort of my time to me where I just get to focus on me, and I really like it. And every time I leave the gym and go back, I forget how much I enjoy the gym.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, so it's been awesome. It's been tough some days just because of my daughter and her sleep schedule. It doesn't always match up perfectly with us. But I still get there every morning that we have a workout and try and kill it the best I can. But
yeah, that's the struggles of a dad, man. Like I'm about to go through that again myself with another daughter. So within the next 2 weeks. So
yeah, we got our second coming in January. So I feel you, brother.
Yeah, man. So all the more reason though to really gain control of ourselves physically, because having that physical strength, health, fitness, it's always going to cross over and help us keep ourselves, mentally tough and resilient. Because if you think about like the story that you were telling, like before, where we were before, like fuck, we like gained that 75 pounds back. And so you started, creating different stories inside your head. Like, holy shit, like my fiance, is she like gonna, stay with me, or like what's going on here? And so, I mean, we let that physical side slip, and it's totally understandable as a dad. I mean, shit, you have all these different responsibilities going on. You have these different priorities going on. And so it's easy for us to, kind of let ourselves slip off to the wayside. And then sooner or later, we're like, holy shit, like, who have I become, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I mean, that's why I'm just a big believer of just health and fitness, like strength and conditioning, like maintain yourself physically. We do that. You're always going to be able, that's always going to be able to help the mental side, so, but yeah, man, I mean, you've made an awesome journey thus far, just, within the 4.5, 5 weeks here. So I'm excited to see, where we take ourselves next, man. So, but to kind of leave things off, like what, I guess if you were to have a piece of advice, like a big aha that you'd want to share, what would that be, man?
I think it's you, like your presence in the group and your confidence in everyone, and even when things aren't going well in the group, you're still the guy that says smarten the fuck up and start doing this. And every video you post is good and relative advice, and you're sort of that rock. And that aha moment for me is like, well, fuck, this guy actually cares, because I've tried, 3 or 4 different things of just, you order your workouts online and your meal schedule or
Yeah.
whatever. And that's it. You don't have contact with the person who sent it or anything. You just got to do it on your own. But you're that concrete, that rock. And then the brotherhood is also just that, the water around it, right? It's just
Yeah.
that support. That was probably the biggest thing for me, was that first Zoom call we had where I was
Mm-hmm.
actually talking to you and not going through the mix and just clicking buttons and whatever.
Yeah.
Best, and that I can do this all myself. But
Yeah.
I think the family inside the brotherhood is like key, even though I'm not hugely active on it or posting every day or anything. Like, I spend a lot of time just watching other guys and what they're going through, and
Yeah.
it's huge.
Yeah. I like the way you put that, man. That's interesting. I've never heard it that way. Like the rock and then the water. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I mean, it works both ways for like me. Like, I'm fueled off of all of you guys, like the commitment that you guys make, the trust, the effort, just what you guys do to push forward, that drives me. And that's for me, really, it's my mission to continue to get myself better so I can, pay it forward to you guys. Right. But at the end of the day, we know, like, the only way that will work either way, like, I can be in the group and, coaching, but at the end of the day, what makes it happen is you yourself, like, doing the work. And I know we had that conversation when you first started. Like, I set that expectation up right away. I'm like, hey man, like, I'm going to be here to support you, but you got to be willing to put in the work. Right. And so that's one thing that I respect of you is, dude, you didn't waste any time. You jumped right in. You started doing the work. You just put your trust into the process. And I mean, here we are, nearly 5 weeks later, and we've definitely made some big progress, man. So kudos to you for that. And yeah, like I said, man, I'm excited to see, what's ahead. So, but yeah, man, what up? You got anything else that you want to add in before we close this thing out?
I don't think so, man. Just a big debt of gratitude to you. Like, it's huge. Even like it's much better these days, and just the sense of going home and being in a good mood for my family, just simply because I'm doing well for myself, by myself. And you and your program, your group, the brotherhood was what boosted me up to do it. So I pay a big debt of gratitude to you and the brotherhood for sure.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. And honestly, what you and guys like you is, I mean, essentially that's what the program is you guys. You guys make it what it is. So I appreciate that, man. And I am definitely grateful for that. And, everybody else that's inside this thing, you guys make it work. So I appreciate it, brother. Awesome.